the Ellen situation.
Yeah.
You know, people found out that Ellen was mean, and all these people came out and said, Ellen's actually a bitch. And then we're like, whoa, I can't believe it. And she lost everything. She fell apart, disappeared, because people found out that this character that she was portraying in a half an hour on a television show is not really who she was. My buddy Greg, who was one of her writers, was like, she's a piece of shit. And he was like, she's a fucking monster.
All these staffers started to come out, not for nothing, but I know a guy, I know him very well, whose sister worked for her, who said, you were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen in the halls of that show. If you saw her, this is not a nice person.
Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly have joined forces to pull back the curtain on Ellen DeGeneres like never before. What secrets are tucked behind that polished grin? Is it just smooth dance moves or something far spicier? Hint, it's chaotic, cringy, and downright hilarious. If you thought daytime TV was all naps and niceness, think again. This story is boiling over with drama, and no one's holding back.
A beautiful name, Isis.
Ellen's rough. That's
Ellen is like an old.
But it's a rough one now.
It's a rough one now because she was running Abu Ghraib in the back of her show.
It led to article after article of people being like, Ellen's a bitch. Ellen is a nasty person.
Ever get that feeling when someone is so adored, so squeaky clean, so obsessively pleasant that it makes you suspicious? That's Ellen DeGeneres for you. Daytime TV's reigning sweetheart, motivational speech queen, and professional smile machine. But just when it seemed like the kindness brand was unshakable, two outspoken media forces decided to give it a hard poke. That's right, not one, but two. Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly.
And you see, like, a lot of people saying that someone who seems so nice is not nice at all.
She doesn't seem nice, but that's people have a very poor judge of character. She doesn't seem nice. It seems forced. People that are like that all the time, she doesn't seem nice. It's very forced. And whatever, you're allowed to be a right. You're allowed to be nasty to people. You're accomplished. You're a comedian. You did the whole thing. What you're not allowed to do is have a Guantanamo Bay situation in the backstage of your show where everybody's walking around afraid for their life, and it's like Abu Ghraib where they're hooked up to wires and they have like.
Yep, you heard correctly, Joe Rogan, the podcast juggernaut who interrogates everyone from cage fighters to UFO chasers, and Megyn Kelly, the no-nonsense journalist with a scalpel for spin. Both set their sights on Ellen's sugary persona. And let's just say, the result? It got uncomfortable, chaotic, and unexpectedly funny.
Question for you on this. This is perfect for you. Because I'm seeing this week that there is an attempted comeback by somebody who did not cross one of those fateful lines of the misstepping on their...
Let's start with Joe Rogan. His show is like a giant cultural x-ray machine. No public image gets passed unscanned. Even the untouchable beacon of Be Kind wasn't immune. Picture Rogan in his usual skeptical mode, eyeing Ellen's sunshine and rainbows, act and wondering, how does this cheerful act line up with all the backstage rumors? His BS detector was on high alert, and Ellen's brand started looking suspiciously shiny.
Staffers started to come out, not for nothing, but I know a guy, I know him very well, whose sister worked for her, who said, you were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen in the halls of that show. If you saw her, this is not a nice person. So she eventually got canceled, but now she's coming back. She's got a Netflix special. That's the right response.
Yeah.
She's got a Netflix special. And here's the capper. On the promo, and apparently there's now articles out about from people who have seen the preview, she plays the victim.
Rogan wasn't chasing tabloid crumbs. He was digging through cultural soil. This wasn't about gossip. It was about exposing a deeper Hollywood contradiction, that bubbly, feel-good workplace Ellen sold on screen, behind the scenes, insiders whispered about a tense, joyless grind. People smiled for the cameras, but allegedly braced for toxicity when the lights dimmed. Rogan laid it out plain, a sunny image on camera, a chilling chill backstage. It felt like watching a Disney movie turn into a thriller halfway through. But Rogan didn't stop with Ellen. He zoomed out to criticize a broader issue, the commodification of kindness. When niceness is just a product slapped on a brand, someone's bound to get hurt.
They made progress with the strike.
They're picketing right now, so I think it's the early stages. I would think it might take a little bit with this one.
When someone crosses the writer strike, that's some dirty shit. They cross the picket line.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody doing that yet.
I think Ellen did. I had a buddy of mine who was writing on Ellen. Everybody kind of knows now what she's really all about. And that's another one of those. Like, I'm so nice and I'm so sweet. Meaning behind the...
Think that was bold. That was just Rogan's half. Then came Megyn Kelly, coming at Ellen from a totally different but equally fierce direction. While Rogan tackled the cultural image, Kelly went for the business skeletons. She put her reporter cap on and dissected Ellen's entire operation, not just the TV face, but the machinery behind it. The lawsuits, the staff complaints, the rumored high-pressure environment. While the world saw Be Kind, Kelly saw a factory line of stress and silence. This wasn't a talk show, it was a pressure cooker, and she followed the cracks, from the surface all the way to the core. If anything, Kelly's sharp-eyed audit made Ellen's fairy tale look more like a corporate myth.
For me, and she actually has the nerve to say that she was run out of Hollywood. This person
with she with $100 million in her pocket.
$450 million, according to Forbes. That's a low estimate.
Yeah.
Because so now she's out there saying, I was run out of Hollywood. She's actually reportedly complaining about how hard it is for women in America with the double standards.
Look at Oprah, how hard it is for her.
Oh, she's got, like 10 houses, Ellen DeGeneres?
Michelle Obama, look how hard it is for women in America. They're hurting.
They're going to let her back in, Rob, because she's a lesbian, she's a leftist, and she didn't hit one of their sacred...
Kelly didn't just go after Ellen. She also took aim at the media itself. She questioned how reporters often seemed more interested in shielding Ellen's brand than investigating it. But Kelly didn't tiptoe. She dragged those inconsistencies into the spotlight, stripping away the polished smiles to focus on the complicated truth underneath. This wasn't tabloid-level scandal chasing. It was a sharp unboxing of celebrity image making. When Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly join forces, you get a brutal combo, part cultural dissection, part investigative deep dive, and fully captivating. Rogan cracked open the glossy narrative with raw skepticism, while Kelly zeroed in on the business engine beneath the Ellen brand. They weren't looking for a dramatic showdown. This was about storytelling, analysis, and a few well-placed punches that left Ellen's reputation with a noticeable wobble. But why does it matter? Because this isn't just about one celebrity's PR disaster. It's a mirror reflecting how we consume fame. We're spoon-fed sparkly stories, and most of us rarely ask questions. This is a reminder that behind every soft-focused kindness campaign, there might be a very different script, playing out in private.
Look at it.
Oh, well, you know where that is too, right? It's a similar image to that, right?
No.
I know Jamie does.
What is it?
It's on the set of a famous talk show that's now not on anymore.
Oh, Ellen? Was that Ellen?
Yeah.
Really?
Just look at the temple and then look at the...
Let me see Ellen's background.
Let's be clear, this isn't some petty smear campaign. It's more like peeling back the layers of a well-produced illusion. Sure, the glitter is real, but so is the misdirection. What Rogan and Kelly did was more like that brutally honest friend who tells you what you don't want to hear right before you make a bad choice. It stings. It shocks. And yes, it might make you laugh too. So what now for Ellen? Well, her Be Kind crown may be a bit tarnished, and her daytime reign now feels less like fantasy and more like reality show chaos. Viewers might not see those smiles and dance breaks the same way again. And more importantly, other stars might start sweating under the spotlight, realizing that branding kindness won't protect them from hard questions. And here's the wild part. Rogan and Kelly didn't even need to confront Ellen directly. No viral arguments, no Twitter feuds, no emergency PR campaigns. Just analysis, facts, and some sharp commentary. That's how people get exposed these days. Not with fireworks, but with focus.
She's a leftist, and she didn't hit one of their sacred cows. Nastiness, that's their bread and butter.
Well, I think everyone, I will say, like, the resentment, I think everyone should have a chance for reconciliation. I don't think Jesus exempted anybody. And so I do, while it does, because I have been allowed back in, but I don't hold any grievance and resentment. It's very important. And I would just say for Ellen, the resentment, you have to know, you have to get over resentment to whatever addiction or addictive qualities happen to get over.
Here's the twist in the tale. The real impact of Rogan and Kelly calling on Ellen isn't just about one celebrity getting dragged. It's about shaking the system that props these stars up. In the first place, when two powerhouse voices from totally different corners of media converge, whether planned or not, the result breaks the usual celebrity echo chamber wide open. Think about it, Joe Rogan, the uncensored podcast titan who thrives on unscripted chaos and conspiracy deep dives, brings that outsider energy to the table. Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly, the sharp-edged, high-profile journalist, delivers a clean, methodical dissection of the power structures behind the image. Together, they toss a grenade into a perfectly controlled media narrative, and the fallout is explosive. Rogan plays to his crowd of skeptics who love poking holes in mainstream myths, especially when they're wrapped in smiles and slogans. And Kelly, she connects the dots with receipts, tracing corporate dysfunction with journalistic precision. It's a one-two punch of streetwise doubt and newsroom credibility.
Bush are jumping around. I mean,
That's right. She was buddies with Bush. That
yeah,
was like
she's
one of
a
the first
CIA agent. Stephen Paddock. And do not ask me for sources, but Stephen Paddock.
Who's that?
He was the guy that shot up the Vegas concert. That was a very tragic thing. Listen to this. The only guy that saw Stephen Paddock alive, his name is Jesus Campos. He was a guard at Mandalay Bay. He got interviewed nowhere else. You know where he got interviewed in the beginning?
Ellen. Really?
Weird. And then they went on, if you could find that clip, they went on with a weird like diagram of how it happened, and Ellen's like showing the people how it happened. Not like an emotional like how are you feeling, how are you holding up. It was a weird diagram of like, and then he went to the left and to the right. It was very strange to look. What the hell's going on? This is a daytime.
When their voices combine, something powerful happens. It chips away at the worship culture surrounding celebrities. Why should we care? Because fans aren't just passive anymore. Rogan and Kelly have triggered a bigger wave of awareness and curiosity. Audiences are starting to question how much of the celebrity image is real and how much is just savvy branding. That perfect public face suddenly feels hollow. It's no longer just about Ellen. It's a challenge to the whole celebrity machine. People are craving authenticity, even if it's messy. The glossy fairy tales, they're not cutting it anymore. This whole episode reveals how deep the divide runs between what we see and what's actually going on behind the scenes. And interestingly, none of this blew up with Ellen storming off set or lashing out on social media. There were no public meltdowns, no live TV confrontations. The truth came out calmly, through analysis, storytelling, and an unapologetic dose of reality. It wasn't clickbait. It was something smarter, something that actually made people pause and think.
Odd look with all those buttons. Like, why do you have so many wrist buttons?
It was given to her in Langley.
The only reason why you have that many wrist buttons if you're looking at clothesline somebody.
Yeah, look at her. Look at her.
Everyone.
Everyone says she looks so friendly. She looks friendly.
She does look very military.
Yeah, she's a militant woman.
With a very expensive watch.
She
too.
dealt with a lot of discrimination when she came out. It was very sad, but then she joined the CIA.
Her house got broken into while she was at home.
Really?
Yeah. She got a dope place in Montecito.
And so, and they broke in while she was there.
Yeah.
And those people are still being tortured to this day.
Probably.
They're still in an underground jail.
Instead of going down the usual messy path of drama and feuds, Rogan and Kelly proved you can challenge power without theatrics. That's part of what made this hit different. It felt intelligent, not just entertaining. And that's where things get interesting. If Ellen, once considered untouchable, can be this thoroughly re-examined, who's next? This might be the start of a shift where fans and viewers hold celebrities to a new stand. ARD1 that values actual sincerity over polished PR. We may be entering an era where the audience demands something real, not just marketable. Ellen's empire isn't crumbling overnight, but the cracks are showing. Why? Because people are over the kindness as a costume routine. They want the real human being, not the sanitized brand. That's the legacy of this moment. Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly didn't need viral showdowns to shake things up, just the right questions, a skeptical lens, and the nerve to tell the truth even when it makes people uncomfortable.
Make
Like,
your
of
mistakes.
all people on earth to be feeling sorry for herself, Ellen DeGeneres should not be on the list.
She should at least, but make a real apology and do it.
There's no apology. It's just woe is me. I was run out of Hollywood as she speaks from this grandiose stage on Netflix. Hello, you haven't been canceled if you are doing a Netflix special. She got $20 million for the one before this. I'm sure she.
Let's be honest. If there's a list of people we shouldn't feel sorry for right now, Ellen DeGeneres is near the top. If she wants forgiveness, a real apology would help. But that's not what we got. Instead, she took the stage in another glossy Netflix special, casting herself as some sort of canceled victim. Really? You're not canceled if Netflix just handed you another multi-million-dollar deal. She made $20 million on the last one. Let's not pretend she's suffering in silence. In the end, what this saga teaches us is that image only takes you so far. The truth always finds a way. Sometimes with the help of unlikely allies like Joe and Megyn. And if Ellen's legacy takes a few hits along the way, maybe that's the price of progress. Because when fairy tales crack open, what spills out might not be pretty, but it's real. And next time someone's selling kindness on a stage, it's worth pausing to ask, what's really going on behind the curtain? Because often, the biggest smiles are hiding the biggest messes. And sometimes, it takes voices like Rogan and Kelly to make us look twice.